Hello and welcome to Sammy on Stadia, where it's time for the F2 Challenge round 13 from the Hungaroring. As you can see, it's a familiar story by now, but I'm not doing that well. I'm in P17 in the championship with Jack Aitken on 3 points. Our teammate Dorian Boccolacci a couple of positions ahead of us, but it's the Cardin guys out in front with a now insurmountable lead for us. There's only 9 races to go, and I'm more than 250 points behind the championship leader Nobuharu Matsushita. So I won't be winning the championship, I'm afraid to say. But how far up can I get? Can I even break into the top 15 in the championship? Let's find out as we go to the Hungaroring.
It's time for this weekend's Formula 2 race here at the Hungaroring. A popular track with a lot of history. I'm sure we're in for an absolute thrill ride of a race today. The Hungaroring is located 12 miles northeast of the capital, Budapest. It's 2.7 miles long, featuring 14 corners, and it's got a reputation for making overtaking difficult. Nevertheless, there's a history of some truly exceptional races here. Let's hope that our Formula 2 drivers can serve up some more of that today. Joining me for all today's excitement, a man who is no stranger to this challenging circuit, Davide Valsecchi. Davide, Hungaroring can be a tricky beast to master. What insight can you give us about today's race?
Ciao Alex, as you say, the circuit can be challenging. There's a lot of slow corner which can make overtaking very frustrating. This will be a good test of this young driver's patience. Waiting for the perfect moment to make an attack will be the key to moving up through the field today.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's results with a look at the starting grid. Louis Delatraz lines up on pole position, and P2 goes to Nick de Vries, a strong showing from the Dutch driver. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Matsushita, Mazepin, Nicholas Latifi, and Giotto, Joe, Galeo, Sete Camara, Mick Schumacher, Correa, Aitken, Dorian Boccolacci, and Hubert, Alesi, Raghunathan, Ilott, and Jordan King. Boschon and Tatiana Calderon completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Well, that's one of our better qualifyings, as it puts in P12 at the Hungaroring, ahead of our teammate and ahead of quite a few other drivers as well. Let's see. Car setup, I'm going to go for the default setup, the preset 3. I don't know much about the Hungaroring. I know the first half of it well, and the second half will require a bit more downforce. I'm going to stick with balanced, and hopefully that'll do as well. What I don't want is, like we had in Silverstone, to lose the front wing end plates at the start of the first lap and end up losing positions in time all the way down the road. So preset 3, P12, let's see what we can do. Five lights are on and they're out, and it's away at the Hungaroring. And again, a decent start, not quite enough to get past Correa, or maybe it is. It is Schumacher. Leaves a space down the inside as we break very late. Actually get a perfect opening corner. A small warning for a collision with Mazepin, but that's actually put us into 4th place. I can hardly believe my luck. As we go through turn 4, that is the dream for us so far. On the first lap was taking a little bit too much curve, slows us down by quite a way. Cutting the chicane by a fair amount, and into this very tight, very difficult to overtake section of the track. Now obviously this is a very good position for us. 4th place will give us 12 points.
That's a good start. Keep it up.
Now considering we're only 13 points behind our teammate, Boccaracci, this would actually be a perfect result to put us back on a par with him. Golfing reference. And so coming out of the end of the first lap, Nick de Vries is leading the race. What are we able to do from 4th? Are we able to even improve? It's the championship leader Matsushita ahead of us. Are we able to disrupt his championship challenge a little bit by overtaking him, pushing him off the top 3? As a result, he hasn't had much. Been on the podium for a lot of races. This is how he's managed such a massive championship lead. Oh!
You've got front wing damage. Recommend you box for a new one.
And that is the danger of the F2 challenge. Going around a corner and the car just does not have the aerodynamic grip at the speed I threw it in. As a result, I'm losing positions again and again and again. It's a repeat of what we had in Silverstone after such a brilliant first corner and first lap, staying in 4th place. And that is absolutely ridiculous. Once again we find ourselves behind Lagunathan as King gets past us on the inside into the final hairpin.
Okay, we've lost a position. That's us down a place.
It's such a shame. We're able to get past King again on the hill. But he cuts back. That must have been a brilliant move, getting the drive off the corner. And we just are not brave enough to go around the outside of him there. And we're going to lose time there just because we don't have the downforce anymore. It's happened again. On turn 5, we had the warning earlier on in the first lap. It was cut by quite a way, and it did penalise us on the straight, not by giving us a time penalty, but we certainly weren't as fast as we could have been. The second one, we just threw it in too fast and it went away from us. It was a massive shame. What I would do is normally I'd do a replay and do a flashback to get us back in the race in a high position. We're going to protect the racing line on the exit of that corner this time to avoid Boschon cutting underneath us like King did last lap. Because it is a matter of pride now. The 20th 3 races ago in Paul Ricard. We were 19th the last race. Do not want another bottom 2 finish. I take a deliberately wider apex on that final corner. I have had moments in previous games where I've crashed straight into that pit barrier. It is not a nice feeling. As we go on to the last lap, again it's a disappointing result, but it's one that showed promise at the start. You know, after good qualifying, I managed to get this car up into 4th place. Now, I don't know if I'd have managed to get onto the podium, but certainly a top 5 would have been a reasonable expectation there. That chicane, and Boschon tries it around the outside. You see the red proximity arrows. If proximity arrows become red, that means he's right alongside us, as he is there. And it's going to be a fight to the line. We don't get the drive off the corner. Do have racing line. He has the inside. He nudges us. This is going to be an incredible final few corners. We get ahead going into the final hairpin. 2 hairpins at the end of the Hungaroring lap. Go wide on the exit. Cut back to the line. And he's coming up at us, and he just get there.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
In 18th place.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for ART today. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
The difference was in the strategy. Credit to the driver for sure, but races like this really drive home how much of a team sport this is. They did a lot of work on the pit wall to really make the most of each stint and to make the best use of the tires. But that said, all of that would have been for nothing without a talented hand on the wheel.
ART, the French team who have been racing since the 90s in various forms of motorsport, are once again back on the winner's podium today after a brilliant display of driving skill. Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
Oh, there's a lot of options, but my instinct says Nick De Vries, and looking down the field, no one really jumps out at me to change my mind. My choice is not the same as the fans' choice this time, and both drivers were brilliant today, but the driver I choose today just about has the edge, I think.
After all this drama, you'll be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Well, that was a disappointing result in the end, but we had some good fun getting up there into the top positions. Had a close fight at the end where we crossed the line just over a tenth of a second ahead of Ralph Boschon, with Tatiana Calderon not that far behind either. Very close finish. Our fastest lap times, 34.3. I feel that's unrepresentative. Our first lap was our only clean lap. After that we had the difficulties of the downforce. You could see me running wide on a number of corners. Further up, Nick De Vries did take the win in the end, with Matsushita staying on the podium. We saw him in the podium celebrations there. Giotto was the person who benefited most from our spin on turn 5 in that too. He finishes 4th in position we were occupying. But again, it's a missed opportunity. The next race is the Belgian race, which is traditionally after the August break in Formula 1 and Formula 2. But it's a race which Formula 2 this year was a particularly sad occasion, for reasons that I will go into on the video next week. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, repost, share, tweet, whatever. Thank you very much, and see you next time on the F2 Challenge.